Hey guys, Josh here, also known as G1 Hexatron, and today we're going to be taking a look at Tonka's 1988 Willow movie action figures. Or I guess the term action figure is kind of debatable, considering these guys have no posability whatsoever, so they're like little statues or figurines, but definitely look cool on a chessboard if you didn't have any pieces and just had the board. But these guys were inspired by the mind of George Lucas, which you may know from the Star Wars films. If you haven't seen those, then where have you been? But this was one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time. I love it. Just came out on Blu-ray, I believe, in 2013 for a 25th anniversary. And if you haven't seen it, do yourself a service. Watch the movie. It's a fantasy movie, so if you can, get into that stuff, then if you're watching this, more than likely you can. Or you like Dungeons and Dragons and you kind of medieval times type thing. It's not really medieval times. They all have swords. There's no guns or anything like that. But it's hard to explain. It's a fantasy world. So I mean, you have humans or dakinis and eldwins or the I think the eldwins are like the little short people. But you had two-headed dragons, which for some reason this guy's name is Aborsky, or at least that's what it says on the box. Now this guy, he wasn't in the movie the whole time, and he is the rarest piece out of all these to try to track down, especially if you had the box, which I do. I will show that off to you because it has some really cool artwork on it. But they actually named him Aborsky, I believe is how you say it, which doesn't really make any sense. I guess they could have just called him Two-Headed Dragon. We would have all been fine with that. But this set is almost 100% complete. I am missing a couple of little things here, and I will point some things out if you're trying to find these guys or kind of complete the set. I believe I'm missing 3 figures. I believe there's a third Willow, which was played by Warwick Davis, and Val Kilmer, which is Mad Mardigan, and Sorsha, Joanne Wally or something like that. I forget her name. But I'm missing their figures like this, the ones that aren't on horseback. But other than that, I believe this is complete. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of this stuff. Now, first thing I wanted to kind of point out is on the bad guys, they have this black stand, to where the good guys, they have this kind of like little tan stand. So if you're missing it, like I am with this guy right here, this is supposed to be kind of like a dog, which is kind of like a weird wolf dog hybrid with a rat tail looking thing. These were in the beginning of the movie, and you saw them a couple different times, I believe, as well, throughout the middle and end. But he's supposed to have a little black stand as well, so I am missing that. I believe this troll, and I'm not going to really mess anything up for you. Basically, the movie, this troll and this have, they're a little bit alike. Basically, Willow, he puts a spell on one of the trolls, and he falls down into this like weird, I don't know, weird water pit or something like that. And it's really dirty looking water, and he turns into this thing. But basically, he is supposed to have a black one, I believe, but I'm not 100% sure. But I just put this little good one on him just because it's the only spare I had. But there's a look at the troll. I'm going to try to get some of these focused here. He's a little bit dirty, but I think it adds a little character because you can see like the hair. I guess that's my excuse for not cleaning him. So there's him. And here's that little weird dog thing that I was talking about. And the main character of the show, Willow, and what it's named off of. So you can see that missing a little bit of his nose there. Just the paint got rubbed off over time. Now these guys are actually, I don't know if there's metal inside of them, but I mean they are hard, except for their little swords and his little wand thing here. But there's some nice detail in there. You can see it. There's some nice painted detail as well. But not too bad for a very small figure. You can kind of see it, measured up with, my hands here, smaller than my pinky. But he's, one of the short people, so not too bad. And I believe here was the other one. There was a green one, and then I think there was one you could get in your cereal. I'm not sure if it's this one, and I think there was a red one, but I'm not 100% sure. There might have just been 2. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. Then you had the I don't know, the magic guy, the head elf, or not elf, but Eldwin guy or whatever from the small people. So he's the one that basically sends Willow on his quest to take, I believe her name's Aurora. I haven't watched the movie in a little while. But the little baby, Daikini baby, which is supposed to be the one to overthrow the evil queen, Bob Morta or something like that. Yeah, Bob Morta, which is kind of, I mean, they all have these weird names, but she's got some nice detail in there with her. She's got this little knife, which I see her at the very end. She grabs a knife, but not too bad. Then you have the coolest looking guy. This was when I saw this movie in theaters when I was a kid, so I was 6 years old, and this guy I thought was so awesome looking. And General Cal, I believe is how you say it, but that skull mask, you're not gonna forget that. And for a long time, I forgot which movie it was from, but that was the thing that I remembered the most from the movie from when I was a kid. And not too bad. And let's bring in his little horse thing here. So all the horses, they're supposed to have these little stands. You can rock them back and forth so you can kind of pose them however you want, put them in little battle scenes. That's really the only posability that any of these things have. A lot of them that you look online, they're not going to have this. And if you don't, you can see that they are not going to stand up. So that's a little unfortunate because on three of mine, I don't have the stand. But something, I'll eventually track down. But I wanted to bring this out and show you guys just because I thought it was kind of cool. And it's not too bad. I love the story. The movie's fantastic. We'll bring in this guy. So he's kind of like your little troop builder for the good guys. Some nice little detail. And this is kind of like the little troop builder for the bad guys here. And here you have Val Kilmer. Before he got all chubby and stuff. Mad Mardigan, and he is absolutely hilarious in this movie. This movie has everything. I mean, it has the romance, it has the comedy, the action, just everything. Fantastic job. Now, it wasn't a big hit at the box office, and here's him by himself without the horse. It wasn't a big hit at the box office, but I think it's more of a one of those things that it's a lot more popular now that it's out on DVD and Blu-ray and stuff like that. And here's her horse. I believe this is the horse that she goes with. I'm not 100% sure. But this is played by Joanne Wally, I believe is how you say her name, and her name was Sorsha. And I was 6 years old and I saw this in movie theaters and first time seeing her, and man, I had the biggest crush on her. I kind of still do. I just thought she was just the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life. I'm 6 years old. So, anyways, moving on to bad guy. I believe this is kind of like their little lieutenant. Now, these guys might have some names. I really didn't do any research for this video. I just press record and, we'll go from there. This is Eric. And he's kind of I guess you could say he's a main character. In the top 10. He comes in towards the beginning, and then you see him a little bit, in the middle, and then at the very end as well. So he appears 3 times. And then I have him on the wrong horse, so he's not supposed to be on a black horse, but I got a guy that needs a horse, and this is the only one I have. So what are you gonna do? But there you go. And all the little horses are different. Like some of them, they're all colored different, and some of them have like little spikes, like you saw with Sorsha. And there he is in his little riding post thing right there. Another little cool thing is he had these in his beard, like those little, I don't know if you call them ponytails in his beard, but he had those, and it's actually on this figure as well. So nice little attention to detail. Oh, and these swords as well. Whenever he was riding horseback, he had this sword, and then when he was fighting later on in the movie, he had this like weird sword. You can kind of see the back end of it right there, to where it kind of covered his hand. So very accurate to what was actually in the movie. And these guys are pretty much the same. I'll just put this one to the side. We'll take a look at him. Another one of those just little troop builder guys. You can put him on there. I think this is the horse he goes to, or at least his hair up there matches this guy. But there you go. Now the main event. This thing, if you are wanting to collect, Willow figures. Let me get this focus again for you. If you're wanting to collect these Willow figures, or have them on your shelf, and just kind of think that it'd be something nice, if you ever come across this guy, get him. He is, I'm not going to say he's rare, but he's very uncommon. I believe the year that I bought him, I think it was in 2013. So last year, it was in the beginning of 2013, and between 2012 and 2013, I think that I had only seen like maybe 5 or 6 of them ever show up on eBay, and those didn't. Not all of them had boxes. I think maybe 3 of them came with a box, and the one that I have has a nice mint box, but not a bad little two-headed dragon. It's got some nice details. It's got this like weird hair or kind of like fuzz stuff on here that's glued on top. So if you do see this, it's very uncommon to find it, and it's quite expensive because it still has the retail sticker on here, and it sold for $4.97. But I think I paid about $50 for it, and it was bidding. And it's got this nice tint, where it's gray, and you can see some red tone up here at the top and the back, and then kind of goes back here to gray. You can see the red up here again, and you do have articulation in these dragon heads, whatever. So you can get them in a certain way, whichever way you want. You can also go back and forth with the legs. So there that thing is. Next thing that we'll take a look at, we'll be done, guys, is the box. Wanted to show you this just because it's got some really cool artwork on here. So as you can see, Val Kilmer, very accurate. Warwick Davis, there's Eric again. There's they call him Oborski. I guess that's how you say it, the evil dragon. And not really what's actually represented in the movie, this little scene here, but close enough. Then you have General Cal, I believe, again, I think that's how you say his name, Bob Morda, and, here at the top, you can see this kid, he's playing with all of them, and, there's the sorcerer that I'm missing, and also the Mad Mardigan that I'm missing as well. Not too bad. There it is on the side, and here on the back, and it shows you some of the things that it can, or that they were going to come out with, some little figures here, and I don't believe these ever made it out. I'm not 100% sure, and there's a little bio or story if you guys want to read that. But anyways, thanks a lot for watching, guys. Wanted to kind of just take a look at all these together and show you. I'm close to being complete, so I wanted to show you, if you wanted to collect any of these, what you need to look for. Sometimes you can find, the figures themselves on eBay actually carded. Don't pay a whole lot of money for them. All the figures except for this guy, I think I paid like $18 or $20 shipped for those. So don't pay a whole lot of money for them. I find them bidding and get them that way. But thanks a lot for watching, guys. Talk to you guys later, and have a good day.